Okay, bacon explosion. Use a block of Philadelphia cheese. I use the cheese-filled bell peppers, baby bell peppers. Yeah, I've got about 5 of them, 5 or 6. 2 cups of favourite grated cheese. I've got Colby in here. Mix all that together, and then we'll show you the next step. I'm having to film this by myself, so I'll just have to sort of do the things and then show you from there. Okay, I've got it in its basically mixed in form there. Now I'm going to wrap this Glad wrap around it and chuck it in the fridge and sort of thin it out a little bit as well, make it a little bit longer, so that it's basically all sort of mixed in together. So we'll have a look once I've done that. Okay, so this is all thinned out a little bit more and rolled up and ready to go into the fridge while I do the next step. So for next step I'm going to need 3 of these 500 gram sausage mince. I've tried it with pork and veal mince, but I've just found that the sausage mince just works better. It just tastes better. It tastes like it should, I guess. The pork and veal is just not right. And then you'll need a kilo of middle rashers of bacon, because you're going to be making a bacon weave with those. So then you're also going to need a rub and some sauce. So onto the rub, I'm basically going to be using some smoked paprika, some garlic powder, some onion powder, a little bit, a fair bit, equal parts of those 3, because that's going to be the base of it, and pretty much even an equal part of Vegeta if it's for kids and you want to sort of keep it kid safe. Probably a teaspoon of that mustard powder there. And if I'm making it for myself, I'll use this, I'll add this Wild Tex-Mex, which is damn hot, and I'll also add a lot of ground up pepper. So, and basically for the, but anyway, like you can make your rub how you want it. You can buy it from the shop, you can sort of do what you like. But for the sauce in here, I've got a cup of my favourite barbecue sauce. It's not a normal one, it's a chipolata based one, which are jalapenos. I've got a cup of ketchup, and I've got like a dash of Worcestershire sauce and a couple of teaspoons of Dijon mustard in there as well. So again, you can make your sauce to suit yourself, but you'll sort of see how we use all these as I go on. I'm going to whack this thing in the fridge and get this meat going, and then I'll show you how to go from there. Okay, so I've got this 1.5 kilo of sausage mince all sort of laid out flat on some baking paper. Definitely need the baking paper or it's a nightmare. I'm just whacking some good amount of rub on here now. Basically just sprinkling it, that's all you have to do. Just putting it on there for flavour, you don't have to rub it in or anything. So, alright, so we've got this puppy on. Got the rub on, now we're going to put this on. There we go. Now we're going to roll this up. This baking paper, like I say, it is a nightmare without it. What I normally do once I get over to here is I put another piece underneath it. It seems to work easier this way. I'll take that one there off. Sticks a little bit, but trying to do this with your hands would be no chance. Alright, so chuck that in there for now. Now I just get these ends covered up. Both the ends all nice and sealed up. You don't want any of this thing leaking out. Pretty much just it's pretty much it. I'll just give my hands a quick wash. Right, now I'm going to grab a little bit more rub, and I'm going to cover this thing in some rub. Now, if you don't know how to do a bacon weave, I'm not going to show you how to do that. I'll show it to you before I do it. But I've found with the bacon weave as well, it's a lot easier to do on this baking paper. It's just so much easier to work with at the end. Otherwise it's so hard to get to wrap it around this because there's so many sort of pieces hanging everywhere. This one's sticking a little bit, that's okay, no stress. Still comes off all good. This seasoning helps it stop sticking anyway. So, alright. A little bit on that bit there. Alright, now I'm just going to leave this. Just going to move this out of my way so I can do my bacon rub. I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, so I've got this bacon weave done. It's not the prettiest looking one, but you can go online and see how to do them. Alright, so I'm going to put this on here now. Alright, get rid of that. I've done the bacon weave again on paper. It's just, now it looks like I'm a little bit short over the end here. The way I get the rind off of this, I don't muck around. You guys can cut it up, but I just pretty much rip the rind off it. Otherwise, you know, if you've got a half an hour to muck around cutting rind off, you can, but it pretty much all holds together still if it's a half decent shortcut. I've had really bad shortcuts to work with before that have been pretty much fallen apart from the deli, and you know, they've still turned out great. It looks bad at the start, but what happens once it starts cooking and getting towards the end is it starts to pull right in. All the bacon pulls in tight. So even now when I put this on this trivet, it's not going to look, the bacon might come away a little bit or whatnot. Whoops, I'm going to have to do it down here. A bit tight for space in this little kitchen. So actually what I might do is pretty much alright, nailed that. Okay, the backyard style there. Alright, I pulled out a piece of this, but that's okay, you can re-wrap it back over it. Just carefully put it underneath it. Just do the best you can. Like I say, they don't look pretty sometimes, but normally they'll tighten right up and they'll look good at the end. I'm pretty sure I got another piece of bacon in here, so I may as well utilise it. And then what I'm going to do is put a little bit of spice of my rub back over the top of it. So because this end's a little bit open, I'm just going to put this piece here. And then what I'm going to do is put it under here. Sort of fiddle around with it and just semi-carefully. That'll just seal that up there. Then back under this one here. So, okay, now I'm going to just put some more rub on this. Now I'm going to cook this thing for 5 hours. Basically, after 5 hours, I'm going to rub it, I'm going to baste it with that sauce that I showed you. And then I'm going to let it cook for another 15 minutes. Just to sort of glaze up the sauce. Now I've got this on obviously low and slow. The way I do it, if we take it out to the fire, is we'll just stop it here and we'll take it out to the fire and we'll show you. Okay, so over here I've got the fire going. Now it's just set up in a little snake setup there. Obviously indirect cooking. I've just got a few coals in there to get it started. Now a lot of the guys they'll use the vent on their Weber, but I've been doing this style for so long, and doing the way I've done all my ribs and all this kind of stuff is with this sort of scenario, and it seems to work extremely good. Just go grab some tongs. So it seems to work extremely good. You don't need to have a massive fire source and then turn your vent all the way down. If you start a fire like this, you can have your vents open all the way without mucking around, and no stress, no having to go, what's the temperature? It just seems to work perfectly all the time, every time. And I do that with my ribs when I cook them about 7.5 hours all up. Some of that's rest time. So get in there. So that's basically going to sit there. I've got a thermometer here. I can run a thermometer through the lid here, a digital one which I've got, and I've got a thermometer there. So I've got that many thermometers. It's not funny, but you know, you don't really even need them either. If you've got one thermometer, it's really all you need. So I've got some cherry wood here that's been soaking. So I'm going to chuck in a couple of bits. I've been soaking that all day. So I'm just going to chuck a couple of bits in there. And I'll just keep dropping that on as it sort of goes. That's not really at the flame there, but some of it there is. I'll sneak a couple of bits in just in here. So and that'll get that smoke going. And then this is basically, like I say, you're going to sit on here for 5 hours. You can leave that grill up there to get in there. You obviously want your vent away from the heat source. She's already smoking. That's what you want. You want this puppy to smoke hard, and yeah, enjoy. We'll come back when we need to. Okay, I just want to show you some quick temperature variances. This is 3.5 hours in. It's at 103.5, coming out of the top there on the digital. Saying about 100 here too. I've found if the Weber's sort of heating up, it's they'll show up different temperatures. I don't know why that's blurry, but it is at the moment. I guess it's a little bit dark out here, and I'm probably blocking the light. And on this one in here, it's showing about, what's that, about 67, about 70 degrees. So about 70 degrees that's showing. So I guess some guys on all these videos will tell you that's how the snake's going. It's kicking along nicely. I put some more wood down that end. At the start, when I started it, it didn't really take off too well. Then I had to go and pick the daughter up from school, so I had to actually come back about an hour later and just put a little bit more, just do a quick relight and put a little bit more ash on there. But some guys will say stick to this temperature, stick to that temperature. You don't need 3 temperature gauges like I've got on here. You just know how. You just need to get used to your Weber. It's as simple as that. And you can see I'm keeping it down at around 100 with the vent on full. And the thing is, if you put a heck load of charcoal in one of these or 2 of these charcoal baskets, you'll get it a heck a lot hotter than that. You'll get it over 150 easily. But you can keep the vent on full if you set it up with this snake method, and it'll sit at that quite nicely. It's been sitting at that for, since I sort of sorted it out after school. So it's how easy it is. You don't need to worry about playing around with your vents. If you just set, the thing you got to be careful of is you don't set the thickness of your snake up too thick. And that's just something that you get over time. And you only, like I say, you only need really 1 thermometer. This is coming along nicely, as you can see. So yeah, anyway, we'll see how it's looking a bit more down the truck, eh? And that's how it turns out after 5.5 hours. Ready to rock and roll. Awesomeness. So 15 minutes to go, we put the sauce on. So you get your sauce of your flavour, you put it on and you baste it on, you leave it in the Weber when you've got about 15 minutes to go. But this was basically a 5-hour cook, 5.5 hours sort of thing. You don't stress too much over it. Just put your sauce on at the end and leave it in there for 15 minutes to get hot, and then rock and roll, eat this puppy up. That's how they look. Awesomeness.